From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
Hi, this is Robert Brammer. With me is Barbara Bavis and Ashley Sundin, and we're going to provide you with an introduction to Congress.gov. Okay, the first thing I want to point out is that you can sign up for an account at the top right. I've already signed in, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And the benefit of signing up for an account is you can save your searches. So as you can see, I've already saved some searches. On the far left, you see I've given it a title, I've given it a description. I can edit both of those, and I can also remove my saved search. If I want to rerun my saved search, I can just click on it. We'll talk more about this a little bit later. For now, I'm going to return to the main Congress.gov screen by clicking on Congress.gov at the top left. Let's talk about how to search legislation. To the left of the search box, notice this drop-down menu. By default, I'm searching current legislation. I can also search all legislation, all sources, which searches across all of the sources in Congress.gov. I can search members, which means member profiles, and we'll talk about that a little later. I can search the Congressional Record, committee reports, and I can also now search executive nominations, and we'll talk about that a little later.
All right, now let's do a sample search for legislation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the drop-down menu next to the search box. I'm going to select all legislation. So for instance, if we were interested in searching for the Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993, I would make sure all legislation is chosen, and then I would type in Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993, and then click the search box. On the next page, it's going to bring up all the results that include Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993 somewhere in the record. Since I know the Family and Medical Leave Act was passed in 1993, I can actually use the limiting features on the left-hand side of the page. So I'm going to go over here to Congress, click Show More, scroll down, and see 1993 was the 103rd Congress. So I'm going to select 103rd Congress. You can see here that the top bill that comes back is still not the bill we're looking for because it did not become law. And the reason I know this is I look at the tracker down here, and all it shows is that it was introduced. It doesn't show that it actually went through and became law. So what I'm going to do is scroll down to Status of Legislation and select Became Law from the list there. Okay, and you'll see that the top result here is H.R. 1 of the 103rd Congress, Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993. It did become law, so this is likely the bill that we're looking for. One thing I want to note before we leave the results page is that you can actually save your searches now. So if you want to save this search, you can go to the Save This Search link, click it, give it a title. I'm just going to say FMLA. And then if you want to, you can put a quick description here. I don't need to for this one, and I'm just going to click Save. So that search is actually going to be saved up here. If you wanted to get to that, you would just click your username up at the top of the screen. All right, now that you've found the bill that you're interested in, all you have to do is click on the bill's number to be taken to the bill's summary and status page. You'll notice at the top of every bill summary and status page, there's going to be an overview box that gives some of the most popular information about each bill. Typically that's going to be who the major sponsor is and the number of any co-sponsors, the committees that dealt with the bill as it moved through Congress, any committee reports that are available. If there's not a committee report available, there won't be a link to it, but there at least will be the citation information for the committee report. It's also going to give you information about the latest action taken on the bill and any major recorded votes for the bill. If you scroll down underneath the overview box, you're going to see that there's a series of tabs toward the middle of the screen. This screen is always going to default to the Summary tab. Summaries are created by the Congressional Research Service, and they're created for every version of the bill as it moves through Congress. So if you're interested in a version of the bill before the version that shows up automatically on the screen, all you have to do is click the pull-down menu here and select the version of the bill you're interested in and click Go. You can follow that same process for the Text tab. The Text tab is going to give you the text of the bill as it moves through Congress. Again, you'll just go to the pull-down menu, select the version you're interested in, and click Go. Notice to the right of that pull-down menu, it's going to give you the option of getting the bill text in TXT form or in PDF. All right, and here's the PDF version of that version of the bill. As you move to the right, another very popular tab is the Actions tab. If you choose to click all actions including floor amendments, the Actions tab is going to give you information about every action taken on the bill as it moved through Congress. The Actions tab is also going to give you links where available to record vote information and to pages of the Congressional Record, as you see here. Continuing to the right, we're going to look at the Committees tab. Committees tab again gives you information about all the committees that dealt with the bill as it moved through Congress. And you'll notice if a report was created, it's going to give you a citation to that committee report. Finally, I want to note the Related Bills tab. The Related Bills tab is going to give you a list of bills that are considered related to the bill that you're looking at on this bill summary and status page. It's going to give you the relationship that your current bill has to this related bill and the latest action taken on the related bill.
Okay, let's return to the main Congress.gov page by clicking Congress.gov at the top left. And now let's talk about how you can browse executive nominations. Under Current Legislative Activities and under Senate, all the way at the bottom you'll see Nominations. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So if you know the nomination number, you can type in that number here, select the Congress, and click Go. But let's say you just want to browse the nominations. Well, over here you can select the Congress facet. You can move down and select the nomination type. Continuing down the screen, notice you can select the status of the nomination. So, for example, maybe you want one that was reported by the committee. You can narrow down your results using that. And you can also narrow down by the associated committee. Here, because I've already selected Air Force as my nomination type, you see under Senate Committee I've got Armed Services. And whenever you want to clear a limitation that you've created using a facet, look up here under Refined By. You can click on the little X next to each facet to get rid of it.
Now we'll return to the Congress.gov home screen by clicking on Congress.gov at the top left corner. You'll notice under the search box at the top of the screen a section called Bill Searches and Lists. Here you'll see legislation that has been introduced in the current Congress. Next to that, you'll find public laws where you can search for laws enacted in the current Congress. Beneath, you'll see active legislation, finding aid. And at the bottom, you'll see our appropriations link to the Appropriations Table.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click on the Appropriations Table link. The first thing, notice that you choose the fiscal year you're interested in. By default, it's the current year, 2015. And if you scroll down, you'll see the bills categorized by subject. Moving to the right, you'll see House consideration, Senate consideration, and resolving differences. And you'll see it's populated by reports, roll call votes if available. And continuing to scroll down the screen, all the way at the bottom, you will find the budget resolution. And also, I'll show you 2014, just to point out that if there are continuing appropriations, you'll see those represented up at the top. And note that if a bill did become law, you'll see a little highlight at the top left that says Law at the top left of the box. Okay, I'm going to return to the main screen by clicking on Congress.gov at the top left. Now I want to talk about member profiles. I'm going to scroll to the bottom of the screen to do that. First, under Current Members of Congress, notice that you can find members by state by clicking on this drop-down menu. I'm going to go ahead and choose Florida. So now it displays all the members from Florida, and if I want to narrow down to a particular Congress or a particular chamber, I can do that here. Okay, let's explore member profiles further. I'm going to click on members at the top here, where you can browse members. Notice you can search for members in the search box up here. Using the drop-down, make sure you've selected members. But I'm going to go ahead and browse current members of Congress, and I'm going to look for Senator Shelby using this drop-down menu here. Then I will show you what you can do with member profile pages. So here's Senator Shelby. I'll click Go. So the first thing you notice is that you can see if a member has changed chambers over the course of their career. You'll see that represented at the top. Then you see their website, contact information, and also if they've changed parties over the course of their career, you'll see that represented here too. Underneath the picture, you'll see a link to their congressional biography. And if this is a member who is retired from Congress, that will also tell you where their papers are housed. But one of the main things you're going to use member profile pages for is to see legislation sponsored or co-sponsored by that member. So by default, you're seeing legislation sponsored or co-sponsored by that member. If you want to narrow down to just sponsored legislation, you can do that with a facet over here at the left. And you have other facets available to you too. You can narrow down by Congress. You can narrow down by bill type, status of legislation, again, where that is in the legislative process, policy area subject, chamber, and even the associated committees. And another exciting new feature I want to point out is that you can go up to the top right here, and to the right of the overview box, if you click on this, you can see where this member's remarks appear in the Congressional Record. That is, where this member spoke on the floor and where it was recorded in the Congressional Record. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click See this member's remarks in the Congressional Record. Okay, so now at the top you see we've got limits in effect, Congressional Record, and Senator Shelby. And we can limit our search further by selecting a particular Congress during which he spoke, and also can limit by chamber, but of course we know we're working with Senator Shelby here, so of course all the remarks appear in the Senate section.
Okay, next, if you're interested in committee actions, you can actually use the committees link at the top of the screen. And that'll take you to our committees page. You can choose any one of these committees listed here and go to that committee's landing page. I'm going to choose the Senate Judiciary Committee. And once you click that link, it's going to take you to that committee's page, give you information about their proceedings and their website, and recent activity that they've done. If you scroll down just a little bit, you're going to see all the committee activity that's taken place. You can also limit your search by the facets on the left-hand side of the page. And if the committee is involved in nominations, which the Senate Judiciary Committee is, you can actually limit your search to just nominations. If instead of committee information I were interested in the debates of Congress, I would use the Congressional Record page on Congress.gov. As you can see, the Congressional Record link is at the top of the screen under Congress.gov. If you click it, you'll be taken to our Congressional Record landing page. The most current issue of the Congressional Record is always going to be the default showing on the Congressional Record page. If you look down underneath the date and the citation information, you're going to see an entire issue link where you can download that entire issue of the Congressional Record. You'll also see, if you scroll down a little bit further, you can select by section of the Congressional Record, so Daily Digest, Senate, House of Representatives, an extension of remarks. If you are interested in a different issue of the Congressional Record, you could select that by date if you come over here to the other side of the screen. If you'll notice, you can type in a date, or you can use the calendar here to choose the date you're looking for, and then click Go. You can also enter a year and a page number by just selecting that link there. You can also do a keyword search of the Congressional Record. If you're already on the Congressional Record page, you'll notice it automatically defaults to Congressional Record in the pull-down menu next to the search box. Make sure that Congressional Record is selected, and then you can do a keyword search in the search box. If you are interested in for instance, the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, you could type in Violence Against Women Act here, and then just click the search box. Alright, you'll notice on the results page we're going to be able to limit our search using the facets on the left-hand side of the screen. Again, like before, you can limit by Congress. Here you can also limit by chamber, or one of our new features here, you can limit by the member of the House or the Senate that's speaking. For instance, if you were interested in what Lamar Alexander had to say about the Violence Against Women Reauthorization Act, you would just choose him from the list, and then you'd see the results in which he was the speaker.
If you would like to browse legislation, go to the top of the screen and click the link Browse. Here you can select from the drop-down menu which Congress you would like to browse. You can browse laws, bills, resolutions, and amendments, bills vetoed, and committee reports. You can also browse bills by subject policy area. The Congressional Research Service assigns a policy area subject to each bill, and you can see a list here.
Okay, let's talk about where you can find search tips to formulate your searches in Congress.gov. To the right of the search box, click on Tips. And here you see search tips, and I want to point out, if you're searching for a bill by number, this tells you how to abbreviate it. And you might be interested in using Boolean search, and in particular using a proximity search, which means searching for one term within a number of terms of another. For example, if you were searching for John within 3 terms of Kennedy, this is the proximity search syntax that you would use to do that. Okay, let's talk about where you can find coverage information on Congress.gov. Under Help/Contact, notice that you will see coverage dates for legislative information under Congress.gov Overview. If you click on that, that is going to tell you what is included on Congress.gov. And notice also on the left we have About pages if you'd like to learn more about particular content types like committees, committee reports, the Congressional Record, legislation, members, and nominations. We'd love to hear your feedback on Congress.gov. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, and features that you'd like to see added to Congress.gov. Underneath the search box, you'll see the Give Feedback link. That feedback will go directly to our development team, so please click on that and give us feedback. Also, if you want to contact us, if you have further questions, if you scroll to the bottom of the screen under Help, you'll see Ask a Law Librarian. If you click on that, you'll get our phone number, and you'll also get access to the Ask a Librarian form. If you click on that form, put in a question, we will respond to you within 5 business days.
This was just a quick introduction to Congress.gov. If you would like further training, scroll to the bottom of the screen under Help and click Congress.gov Webinars. Here you'll find a link to the seminar form where you can register for one of our bi-monthly webinars. On behalf of myself, Robert Brammer, and Barbara Bavis, thank you for watching.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.